Hello and welcome to English Literature. It helps you bring the inside out. Before delving deep into English literature and the contents, it's very important to know about the periods of English literature. English literature has been divided mainly into 8 categories. Old English period or the Anglo-Saxon period, which lasted from 450 to 1066 AD. Middle English period or the Norman Conquest from 1066 to 1500 AD. Renaissance period 1500 to 1660 AD. Neoclassical period 1660 to 1785 AD. Romantic period from 1785 to 1832 AD. Victorian period from 1832 to 1901 AD, modern period from 1914 to 1945 AD, postmodern period from 1945 to present. In between there are many short periods which aren't mentioned here. For example, you have Edwardian era in between Victorian and modern period. So basically the periods in English literature is divided into 8 and there are many other subcategories. As we go further, we will know about each one of them. Today we will be covering Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare. In order to go through the work of William Shakespeare, it is very important to cover these two periods, which is Elizabethan period from 1558 to 1603 AD, which is during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, and it is also called as the Golden Age of Literature. Arts, literature and culture flourished during this era. Or the Jacobean period, which lasted from 1603 to 1625 AD. It is named after the Latin form of King James I, which is Jacobus. So James in Latin stands for Jacobus. Now William Shakespeare wrote during the Elizabethan period, but his career extended into the Jacobean era. That is why it is very important to know the dates of these two eras. Let's see about William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet and actor. He is widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon, or simply the Bard. Born April 1564, Stratford-upon-Avon, United Kingdom. He died on 23rd of April 1660, Stratford-upon-Avon, United Kingdom. He married Anne Hathaway. Marriage lasted from 1582 to 1616. You can say till he died. Children: Hamnet Shakespeare, Judith Queenie and Susanna Hall. Education: he went to King Edward VI School. Now William Shakespeare wrote 38 plays and 154 sonnets. He invented hundreds of words and phrases now common in English, was a successful actor and the co-owner of the Globe Theatre. Shakespeare's plays are typically divided by genre and chronology. They are like comedies, history plays, tragedies and romances or tragicomedies. William Shakespeare wrote 2 major narrative poems, long narrative poems. They are Venus and Adonis in the year 1593 and The Rape of Lucrece in the year 1594, as well as several short poems including The Phoenix and Turtle and A Lover's Complaint, and the collection of 154 sonnets published in 1609. Shakespeare's 154 sonnets are generally divided into 2 main sequences. Yes, sonnets of Shakespeare are divided into 2 categories, but before that we have to know what a sonnet is. So, what is a sonnet? A sonnet is a poem of 14 lines written in iambic pentameter with a specific rhyme type, typically exploring a single theme, often love. So, sonnet is a poem of 14 lines written in iambic pentameter. Now William Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets. Sonnet number 1 to 126, these groups or these poems focus on a relationship with a fair youth. So an identity as a fair youth, but initially urging him to marry and perpetuate his beauty, then celebrating his beauty and consoling the poet for the youth's absence. The identity of the fair youth is unknown. So 1 to 126, though they are dedicated to a fair youth, but who the fair youth is questionable. While the collection is dedicated, so that fair youth could be Mr. W.H. Now who is Mr. W.H.? This could be reference to either Henry Wriothesley, the 3rd Earl of Southampton, or William Herbert, the 3rd Earl of Pembroke. So 1 to 126 dedicated to a fair youth, that is Mr. W.H. Now the identity of W.H. is questionable. There are two options, could be Henry Wriothesley or William Herbert. Now sonnet 127 to 154, these are addressed to a mysterious dark lady, exploring themes of love, betrayal and desire. Now here also the true identity of the dark lady is unknown. However, the candidates in consideration could either be, it could be Mary Fitton or Emilia Lanier. So these are the two options, but nobody knows for sure who the dark lady is. These poems, along with his celebrated plays, demonstrate his enduring skills as a poet, though poetry was not as profitable as his plays. So William Shakespeare is a renowned poet and the best dramatist so far. Let's read sonnet 130. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, then her breasts are dun. If hair be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any yet she belied with false compare. Let's go through the theme. Sonnets basically deal with the theme of love, beauty, lust, jealousy, time and mortality. The sonnet 130 is a realistic portrayal of love, appearance and admiration that mocks the exaggerated and conventional ideals of beauty found in Elizabethan poetry. Instead of using unrealistic metaphors, and sonnet emphasizes honesty and authenticity, asserting that genuine love is found in appreciating a person's true nature, flaws and all, rather than in defying them with impossible comparisons. So the basic themes covered by sonnets are that of love, beauty, lust, jealousy, time, mortality. Now this sonnet, particularly sonnet 130, it's a realistic portrayal of love, appearance, admiration. You find all three here. It mocks the exaggerated and conventional ideals of beauty found in Elizabethan poetry. Instead of using unrealistic metaphors, the sonnet emphasizes honesty and authenticity. So the sonnet emphasizes or stresses upon genuine, real things, asserting that genuine love is found in appreciating a person's true nature, flaws and all. So you have to appreciate a person's true nature with the faults and the good things, rather than in defying them with impossible comparison. It presents that love is the strongest when it is grounded in reality rather than in the false or conventional ideals of poetry. So love should be true. It should be based on reality than in the false ideals of beauty or other things in poetry. Throughout the poem, the poet talks about the physical features of his mistress that do not match the standard of beauty. For example, wire-like hair, breasts-like done, no rosy cheeks and all. Now, she is not at all stunning or marvelous like a goddess. In the poem, he has mentioned in the quatrains that she is not at all pretty. All the conventional standards of beauty, he has mentioned that they contradict her. But still, he loves her and adores her. To him, she is unique and rare. That is why he does not measure his love on the worldly scale of beauty. This is the theme. Let's go through some of the word meanings. Mistress, it's a lover or a concubine or a lady friend. Coral is a hard red, pink or white substance that forms in the sea from the bones of very small sea animals. You can see in the picture, it's a hard red, pink or white substance that is formed in the sea from the bones of very small sea animals. Dun is of a dull greyish brown color. Damask is cotton textile fabric woven in elaborate pattern. Delight is joy. Reeks, to smell strongly of something unpleasant or stink. Hath is the archaic or the old English of third person singular form of the word have. Pleasing is giving pleasure or satisfaction. Treads, to walk, or the sound you make when you walk, or you walk with your feet turned, step. Belied is to contradict or show to be untrue. So let us read the poem and try to understand line wise. Sonnet, a poem of 14 lines, 3 quatrains and a couplet is there in this sonnet. This is from the second series, which is from 127 to 154, and this sonnet is dedicated to a dark lady, as we have seen in the previous ones. So my mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground, and yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare. So, you can see there are 14 lines dedicated to a lady. It's a dark lady. Now, first of all, let us see the rhyming pattern. You can see the word sun rhymes with dun, red rhymes with head. So, A, B, then white goes with delight. So, C, D, E, F, and G, the couplet. The poem is a Shakespearean sonnet in structure using iambic pentameter, and iambic pentameter for detail you can use the comment section if you want. I'll provide a detailed one, otherwise just in simple words it is unstressed with stress. This pattern follows the syllabic style. Now specific rhyming pattern is there: A B, C D, E F, G. Shakespearean sonnet has 3 quatrains and 1 couplet, 4-line stanzas, quatrains, followed by 2-line rhyming couplet, making a total of 14 lines. Now the last 2 lines are also called as voltas, VOLTS. where there is a change in idea. Now let us see. All the lines that you read, they are anti-complimentary. You can feel as if he is praising, but in the negative way. See, my mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun, so they are not as bright as the sun. So here sun, see, dark lady. Okay, so remember he says mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun, so they are not as bright as the sun. They are dull. Coral is far more red than her lips red. So coral, that is far red. In comparison to coral, my mistress' lips are not red. They are dark perhaps. If snow be white, why? Then her breasts are done. See? The complexion. So she is not fair like the snow. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. So if you can compare the dark color of hair or the curly hairs to be wired, then you can see that the head is covered in wires. The hair is not at all beautiful, not at all silky, not at all kept properly. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. So roses red, such a crimson color, but her cheeks, they have no color at all. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. So my mistress, the way she smells, the breath that comes out of it, it's very stinky. That it stinks a lot, reeks, smell, unpleasant smell. So perfume has a better delight if we compare with the breath that comes from my mistress, the lady. It is terrible. You can't live beside, you can't breathe there in her presence. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. So he says, see, I love my mistress, no doubt. I love her when she speaks, but I also know that the speech is not pleasant or not melodious at all. Music is more pleasing than her voice. Music is a better one in taste. Her voice is not melodious. I grant I never saw a goddess. I accept I never saw a goddess. My mistress when she was treads. So she steps. So he says, I have never seen a goddess go. So, but he believes that goddesses move with grace. But he says, my mistress, she walks. She just steps on the ground with sharp steps. She's not at all graceful. And the last two lines, see, there's a change. And yet, by heaven, I think my love is rare, as any she belied with false compare. So you cannot compare. She is more beautiful than she can be stated. She is truly beautiful. So the speaker says that love is extraordinary and it's very valuable, just like any woman. So my love, like any woman, is described with honest real qualities than having false praises through untrue comparisons. So he says throughout the poem, you see, he compares the mistress with all good things, and then he says that she is the opposite. At the end of it, he says no, she is more than what we can compare with. So since the beginning, the speaker goes on saying that the mistress or the lover's eyes are not as beautiful and bright as they are supposed to be in poetry as they are mentioned. They are not as dazzling and glowing as the sun, and they are also not as very vibrant or beautifully red, crimson, polished like the coral. So it is also not to be compared with coral. It is not like coral. And again, the hair is also not very soft, shiny, silky or sleek. It is like old, it's not fashionable. It's like wires. Then he says they are not like colored pattern roses also. Cheeks are also not as rosy or tone as that of roses. And the music or the voice is also not very melodious. And then he says, but he thinks that his love is rare. So despite all these negative comparisons that he had earlier made, in the couplet part he says that despite all the negative qualities, The speaker declares that love for her is precious and unique, as any woman praised with false comparison. So it's not false. You cannot compare my mistress with the false comparisons. He means that his love is valuable as any woman who is falsely idealized. So in comparison to other poetry where woman is compared to all good things, all beautiful things, his love is realistic, genuine, and it cannot be compared. This is the poem which is explained so far. So with negative comparisons, he had gone against the Elizabethan idea of beauty, that everything is perfect. No, there is perfection in being imperfect. So the woman, it's the woman, need not be beautiful, but he likes her. To him, the love of his life is the woman in front. So this is the explanation, and this poem has a number of poetic devices. Let's go through a few. So some poetic devices are mentioned here. Alliteration. It is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line in quick succession. For example, the sound of B, W, H, in this case hair, B, wires, black wires. So see, wires grow on her head, the H sound. And then the sound of TH, in than, in the breath, that, from, the mistress, reeks. Then again the sound of W in, if snow, be white, then Y, so white, Y. See, the W sound gets repeated. And then consonants is a part of alliteration, but here the repetition of consonant sound in the same line, it is not necessarily the beginning of a word. For example, if snow be white, Y, then her breasts are done. See, the her sound gets repeated, H sound. Then S in, as any she belied with false compare. See, her sound. Rhyming scheme we have already done, A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, G G. The formal is, structure is, the poem follows a Shakespearean sonnet pattern with iambic pentameter and a specific rhyming scheme, emphasizing the poem's exploration of love's constancy and endurance despite time's effects. Enjambment is defined as the thought in verse that does not come to an end at a line break. So it rolls over. So the idea continues to the next without a pause. See, for example, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that comes that from my mistress reeks. See, after delight there is no punctuation, there is no pause, but the line continues to the next. The idea continues, that is enjambment. We have hyperbole, where it's a device used to exaggerate the statement for the sake of emphasis. In this poem, Shakespeare exaggerates the mistress' beauty by insulting her by using ordinary objects and contrasting her beauty to objects in nature. Now, a simple example of hyperbole will be, for example, if I say I am so hungry that I can eat an elephant. Now, I cannot eat an elephant, but I am emphasizing on the hunger. I am comparing. See, my hunger is so much that I can eat an elephant. So here Shakespeare exaggerated the mistress' beauty by insulting her by ordinary object and contrasting it to objects in nature. Now, imagery. It is used to make the readers perceive things with their five senses. That is, when you feel, you can imagine it as if it's going in front of you. If snow be white, why, then her breasts are done. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damask, red and white. See, you can feel the color of snow, hair, wire-like, then roses, red, white patterns. Now, metaphor. It's used to compare an object or a person with something else to make meanings clear. For example, if hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. Simple understanding, if I say he is a lion in the battlefield, so he is compared to a lion. If hairs be wires, black, so hairs are like wires. Similarly, it is another mode of comparison where something is compared with something else using like or as to make the meanings clear to the readers. Shakespeare has used this device in the opening lines of the poem. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. So, my mistress' eyes are not like the sun. He has compared here using the word like. In metaphor and simile, this is the major difference. Metaphor and simile both are means of comparison, but when you show comparison using a metaphor, you do not use like or as, but when you show comparison with a simile, you use like or as. Now we have paradox. It's a literary device where a seemingly self-contradictory statement or situation actually contains a deeper hidden truth or a significant insight. See, for example, in simple words, a self-contradictory statement. Central paradox in Shakespeare's sonnet 130 is the contrast between the poem's seemingly insulting descriptions of the speaker's mistress and the ultimate assertion of his genuine unconventional love for her. See, contradictory statements throughout the first three quatrains. Everywhere he has said my mistress is this, that, so she is not beautiful, the comparison all in negative. At the end of it he says, but my love is genuine. So these are contradictory. This is a paradox. Then we have repetition here. It is the repetition of words, phrases, lines or stanzas to emphasize ideas, create a musical rhythm and provide continuity within a poem. So in the poem, mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun, you have so many words that are used again and again. For example, mistress, red, wires, roses. So this is called repetition. Now anaphora, you can call it a kind of repetition. It is where the word or phrase is repeated at the beginning of successive lines, clauses or sentences to emphasize key ideas and evoke emotion. See, anaphora and repetition. There's a difference. Repetition is throughout the poem you can have a word or a statement get repeated. But anaphora, it should be the beginning of consecutive or successive lines. For example, if snow be white, why then her breasts are done. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. Now see, this if and if, they are example of anaphora. Why? It is the beginning where it is used. When you read the line, you have see the word wires used twice, but it is not used in the beginning. So this will not fall in the category of anaphora. Wires here is repetition because throughout the poem within lines it is used again and again. So the very beginning or the commencement of successive lines, if it is used, it is anaphora. So these are some of the poetic devices used in the poem. For any doubts or queries, you can use the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.